I've got a massive upgrade to show you. Do you know what? I'm going to show you it, but I'm not going to talk about it yet. Oh, what is that? That's not the BLUETTI Charger 1, because it is the BLUETTI Charger 2. But I'm not going to talk about it here, because in this episode we're going to go and chase the snow and go to Glencoe. We made it to Glencoe. We managed to get the snow, and we have got the sun as well, which is going to come in handy. But maybe not as handy because I've got the roof box on my roof, so I can't really get access to my solar. But as you saw at the start of the video, BLUETTI has sent me out their game-changing Charger 2. I know what you're thinking, how is it a game changer, Robert? Well, I'm glad you asked. With the BLUETTI Charger 2, you can now dual charge from the alternator as well as solar. Again, I would be able to do it with solar if the roof box wasn't on the roof. So you can now dual charge while you're driving from the alternator and solar up to 1200 watts straight into your power station. And if that wasn't game changing enough, you can also use the Hub D1 to use as a power distribution for it. However, I'm going to note this review is going to be a wee bit different, because normally I sit in the video and I've got the product in my hand and I'm showing it in the camera and all that stuff. I'm going to use a lot of visuals because, as you saw at the start of the video, the BLUETTI Charger 2 is already installed. But don't worry, I did do an unboxing video and I did do an installation video, and also because I forgot to bring a screwdriver. So let's get in and talk about it, because we're losing the light, and even though it looks pretty and sunny and all the rest of it, it's like -3, -4 degrees, and my hand's starting to go blue. So let's get in. So in the box we get an accessories box and the Charger 2 itself, which, as you can see, is a lot bigger than the Charger 1. Accessories wise, they do give us the big cable, as I've shown in my install video. We also get 2 MC4 cables to go in the back of the Charger 2 and a nice XT60 to MC4 cable. So this is what will connect it to the power station. And we've also got this as well, an actual battery terminal fuse, and I'm going to show you why that's actually better than the one we have. So if you remember, we installed this fuse box. So BLUETTI's actually supplied us with the fuse block for the actual battery, because the Charger 2 goes up to 75 amps, whereas this is only 60 amps. So now, to keep it nice and neat, we just connect that onto the terminal and then put the fuse block on here and take the positive from the Charger 2 and then feed it onto here. So let's do that quickly. And then all you do is just pop the fuse on like that, get the terminal for the Charger 2. Hand tight is going to do it like that. And now that's the Charger 2 in, so we're just going to put this rubber connector in just to stop any of the metal hitting the top of that, because it is raised a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fuse out so that this isn't live either. And as you can see, it's a lot more neater than having to drill into the engine bay. But you do need to make sure that you've got enough clearance under the bonnet to do it. But if not, you'll just need to find another way of doing it. Some people can put it upside down, but this should be alright for me. So let's go in and show you how to set up the Charger 2. So that's where the Charger 1 is, and this is the size difference between the two of them. Quite a bit bigger, probably double the size. If you already have the Charger 1 installed, it's simply just a case of taking the 2 positive and negative cables and plugging them straight in. That's it, you're done. And so before you take any cables away, just make sure that your fuse is turned off. And then just unscrew them. If you've already got these cables, then you're already good to go, so just leave it like that. My only issue is where am I putting it? I think for a temporary measure, I might just put it here. So in order to pop any of these in, you have to take this wee faceplate off with these 2 screws. And then it'll just come off, like that. And basically again, it's just plug and play, and where it says alt is where the positive and minus for the alternator go. To get into these screws, just make sure you get a thinner screwdriver. And then all you need to do is put the plate back on it. Just now, we're only going to be using it with the Power Station Elite 200 V2. All we need is XT60, so this is going to be plenty, so let's get the plate back on. And that is literally how quick it is to set up, so all we need to do is just pop it back down. Like that. And that is the Charger 2 installed. And then all we need to do is take this to the Elite 200 V2 or the Elite 100 V2 when we want to charge. So as you see, the power button on, and again we're just coming out through the cable into the XT60 into the BLUETTI Elite 200, and as you can see we are currently now up at 86% and we are getting 400 watts. We're not getting the full 800 watts just because obviously how much close that is to 100%, and it is very quiet as well. So with the Charger 2, you do get the big cable with it. On the Charger 1, it was a separate purchase that I purchased myself. And on that cable in this footage here, you'll see that you got the big white fuse. And this was basically to turn it on and off. And this is just a cut-off switch. So if you're going to be working on the cable, if you're going to be installing it, you can make sure that the power's off and it's not coming through from the battery. However, with the Charger 2, you get this fuse here, which is a 75 amp fuse because the Charger 2 is rated for 75 amps. I think BLUETTI's added this as a way to bypass the cut-off switch because the new cable doesn't have that. In my opinion, if you're someone that's coming from the Charger 1 up to the Charger 2, I would do the same as me and just leave the same cable with that on-off switch, and then under the bonnet I would just change the 60 amp fuse with the 75 amp fuse and just put it on the terminal as I showed in the install. And the reason why I'm saying to keep that cut-off switch on, if you leave that on all the time, your alternator's constantly working. Obviously it depends on the alternator you've got, it could damage it over time. Again, I've not had an issue with mine, but what I love about my BLUETTI Charger 1 is that cut-off switch, because when I don't need that power, it's off. I switch the connector on and I'm now getting power from the alternator. And then once I get a notification on my phone that my BLUETTI's fully charged, I just reach behind the seat and I turn it off. I love having that extra bit of control because it means that I can give my alternator a break. The BLUETTI Charger 2 has got its own separate cable going to the alternator, and then it's got its own separate cable going to the solar. If I flick the switch to turn the alternator off, it can still charge with solar. Having that cut-off switch is a bit more peace of mind for me, knowing that my car battery isn't getting drained. With that added solar is a massive game changer because it just means even if you don't want to use the alternator, that solar will still come in and trickle charge your power station through the Charger 2. I mean, obviously you don't need the Charger 2 to use solar with your power station or the alternator charger, but you do need the Charger 2 if you want to do both at the same time with one cable. So let's cover the features. So one of the biggest features is we go from 560 watts from the Charger 1 up to 800 watts with the Charger 2. We now also have up to 600 watts of solar input, and now because we can use both of them for dual charging, it gives us a combined total of 1200 watts going into a power station. And that's where the power of Charger 2 comes in, because if you are somewhere off grid, and again, you don't want to move, say it's the most idyllic spot ever, even when your car's off, it's not going to draw power from the battery, it's just going to bring it in from solar. So you're going to constantly top up your power station from the solar. And just like the Charger 1, we do have the adjustable voltage as well from 12 volts to 56 volts, and that's more primarily for third-party power stations. Again, we've also got app control, so you can fully customise and control everything from the app with the Charger 2. And another massive feature for the Charger 2 is bi-directional charging, reverse charging, which means basically with compatible BLUETTI power stations, stations, you can reverse charge your car battery should it be low or if you want to give it a trickle charge. And the compatible power stations are the AC200 Max, AC200L, the B300K, the B500K and the Apex 300. And for anyone that's got a smart alternator, the Charger 2 will plug into your smart alternator using a D+ cable, and when you link the two together it just gives a better synchronised setup. And like I said at the start of the video, we do have power distribution as well now. So if you remember, we got this Hub D1 with the Apex 300. You can now use the Hub D1 with the Charger 2. Now we've got access to USB-A, USB-C and the two 12-volt ports, all from the Hub D1 connected into the Charger 2. And if you're wondering why does this matter, because even though you're powering a power station with ports, the 12 volt is only up to around about 10 amps. Plugging in that Hub D1 will give you 12 volts 50 amps or 24 volts 25 amps. On the port starting from the left, you've got your D+ signal port, which is for your smart alternator. You've got the DC input port, which is labelled Alt, so this is where you plug in the big long cable. Next to that you've got CHG, which stands for charge, and this is for the output port for your power station. Next to that you've got PV, which is solar input port, and then next to that is a DC output, which is basically where you plug in the Hub D1. At the end you've got the bidirectional port, which again is for the bidirectional power, so you can charge your battery from a power station. So on the machine itself, it's very lacklustre in terms of features. All you've got is on the front is this big air intake, then you've got the power on and off button at the top, and on each side you've got ventilation fans. You can fix this to the wall with the screw mounts. So you just go in and add device, but as you can already see I've already added mine, so we'll go in through Bluetooth. So as you can see, the top left we're bringing in 716 watts, but nothing in the top right because we don't have solar in. But as you can see on the power station we're getting 672 watts after it's been converted. So when we go into settings, you'll see it's pretty much just the same as a power station and the Charger 1. You've got your regular change of name, network settings, default connection mode, so Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, home page display, and you've got reverse charging down here. So if we are wanting to basically charge the battery, we can enable it here, but mine's is fine, so we don't need to do that. Down below that, this is where you can change your voltage from 56 volts all the way down to 12 volts. And then you've got your firmware upgrade, advanced settings and about device. And I would advise when you get one of these devices to upgrade your firmware, because the device is going to work as it's supposed to. And again, if you had solar coming in, you'd be able to see exactly how much solar on the right hand side was coming in straight into the Charger 2. So let's talk about the pros and cons. So just off the bat, before we cover it, Charger 1 is probably within my top 3 of the things that I love in Dobby, but spoiler alert, I think Charger 2 has now beaten it. First pro for me already is the 800 watts up from the 560 watts of the Charger 1. The second one is the 600 watt solar input, and leading on from that, with the 800 watts from the alternator, the 600 from the solar, we've got dual charging. That's like the ultimate setup for a power station. Another pro is the reverse charging, the bidirectional charging. So if your battery does get flat, you can use a power station to reverse charge it. I think a pro for me is the fact they included that 75 amp fuse. And I think the last pro for me is for the Charger 1 users. If you're coming from a Charger 1 to a Charger 2, it's literally just plug and play. What about the cons? Is there any cons? So the only con for me, and I think it might be an obvious one, is the fact that it's double the size of Charger 1. We have got double the power, so is it a con? Maybe, maybe no. I think because I'm in a micro camper van, space is more a luxury, so I don't know. Again, you're getting double the power for it. So let's cover it. Should you upgrade? It's apples and oranges. If you've got solar on your roof and a big power station, go for Charger 2. If you're happy with your setup and you don't have solar, stay with Charger 1. But again, both are game changers. The only one that's leading the charge is the Charger 2 because of the dual charging. The 800 watts from the alternator, 600 from solar, it's reverse charging, and the fact that you can plug the Hub D1 in it as well for a 12 volt or 24 volt system. So guys, if you want to go and pick up the Charger 2, or if you want to go and pick up the Charger 1, I'll leave a wee link in the description, and if you use that link with my promo code BLUETTI Robot, you'll get a nice 5% off your order. So even if you get a power station with the Charger 2, you'll get 5% off your total order. So guys, that's going to cover it for this video. Thanks again to BLUETTI for sending out the Charger 2. I wish I could test the solar, but because I've got the roof box on, there's nothing I can do with that. So guys, if you did go and enjoy this video, why not drop it a wee like and let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, why not get subscribed and hit that bell notification so you're always notified when I drop a new video. As I said, I am in Glencoe and I have filmed some episodes running about Glencoe. Those episodes will be coming to my other channel down the road over here. So if you want to see those videos when they become available, I'll leave a link in the description and head on over and subscribe to that channel so you don't miss them. So until the next one guys, peace.